Hello and welcome back to Video Chats with Lorious. Guys, this is our first official video chat. We're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions, and specifically, I'm going to give you 3 reasons I don't make New Year's resolutions. Now, I did not say I don't make resolutions. I said I don't make New Year's resolutions, okay? And there's 3 big main reasons why. Okay, so first of all, I think you should make changes when you're motivated to do so. I don't think changes should be made just because of a date. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that makes people change is something they're getting an outcome that they dislike enough to want to change their behavior to affect something else. So that's why a lot of times when you try to get a spouse to change or a loved one to change or a family member to change, it doesn't work because the behavior that they're exhibiting is working for them and they're not motivated to change. And sometimes people try to give ultimatums and say, if you don't do this, I'm going to do that. The truth is you can't force people to change and you can't force yourself to change. When you are motivated and you say, you know what, I don't like being broke, so I'm going to watch how I spend my money, then you will change. When you say, I don't like the fact that my stomach is pudgy, so I'm going to stop eating so much sugar, then you will change. That's what will make you change, is when you're motivated to do so because of the outcome. And sometimes it's bigger than just, money or physical things. Sometimes it's, I don't like the fact that my relationships keep turning into something that's very codependent. And maybe I need to change how I'm connecting to people or who I'm choosing to connect with. There was a time in my life when I connected with emotionally unavailable people, especially men, and I didn't understand how come I was having failed relationships. But once I realized that I was making a choice to try to connect with men who were emotionally unavailable, and I chose to change that, I was blessed with a wonderful husband who's very emotionally present for me. But my point is that the time to change, I could not have changed that on January 1st. That's something I had to discover, an outcome that I was producing that I didn't like, and I was motivated to change it. And that's one reason I don't make New Year's resolutions. You got to be motivated, and that can happen on January 1st. It can also happen on September 4th or June 10th. Whenever it happens, that's when I make a change. Okay, that's reason 1. Reason number 2, I don't make New Year's resolutions. It's because frequently resolutions, especially New Year's resolutions, tend to not be very well thought out. How many times does someone say, I'm going to eat better in the new year, I'm not going to eat any carbs, I'm not going to all this stuff, right? Well, the first thing they forget is they're up late on New Year's Eve and they haven't restocked their kitchen for this new eating plan on January 1st. So then they wake up January 1st and they're like, okay, well, I'll just eat what I have today and then I'll fix it later. I'll get it better. Well, then they don't have time that day because they're sleeping late because they were up the night before. Then the next day back to work, on and on and on. It just doesn't happen because it's not thought out. It's not that it's not a good idea. It's not that it's the thing to do or that it's not that you shouldn't do it, but you gotta think it out. And a lot of times resolutions are made just in this big emotional, flurry of, I'm gonna be healthy next year. Okay, what does that mean? And so they're not thought out very well, so they tend to get broken, and then you get on yourself and you're upset with yourself because you broke your resolution, and it starts this cycle, and it's just not worth it. It's not. So that's number 2. People tend not to think through resolutions, and therefore they tend to break them pretty quickly. Number 3, self-reflection should be ongoing. It's not something that you should say in December, I'm going to start self-reflecting on Self-reflection, the process of recognizing what is and isn't working in your life, the process of recognizing areas where you need to grow and things that you need to change, that should be ongoing. Now, that doesn't mean that you sit there questioning yourself all the time, or as my pastor says, spiritual thumb on spiritual pulse. I'm not talking about that. But the act or the practice of thinking and looking at things and saying, maybe I could have handled that differently. Self-reflection like that should be ongoing. And that's what can lead you back to reason number 1, which is being motivated to make a change. When you're actively reflecting on things and looking at things that are happening and considering your role in situations, it helps you more quickly, or I shouldn't say quickly, more easily be ready to say, you know what, I really don't like that, I need to make a change. Sometimes the change is in you, sometimes the change can be in the company you're keeping, sometimes the change could be in the information that you're taking in, because what you eat is going to be what comes out. So maybe if you find I don't like that I sound negative, well, what are you taking in? That's ongoing self-reflection. And then you can say, you know what? I want to be a more positive person, so I'm going to stop taking in so much negativity. That's self-reflection. And then you should make that change today, not January 1st. It may be January 1st, but not January 1st. That's what I'm talking about. And those are the reasons I don't make New Year's resolutions. It's not that I don't make resolutions. It's not that I don't resolve to change. It's not that I don't resolve to do better, to be better, and to aim to be a better person. But that should be part of an ongoing system of maturity that says, you know what? I don't have it all together, and some of my stuff does stink. And as I discover that, I'm going to clean it up. Whether that's January 1st, April 1st, May 10th, whenever it happens, I'm going to rise to the challenge and I'm going to change it. So I actually resolve to be aware of myself and how I'm interacting with those around me and to make the changes necessary when I'm aware that they need to be made. So guys, that's it. What do you think? Do you make New Year's resolutions? I'm not poo-pooing them. If you make them, I think that's great, and I wish you all the best of luck in keeping them. So I'm not poo-pooing them, and there are things that I'm doing differently because it's 2019, because it made sense to me, and I reflected on it, and I said, I'm going to start this here. It's a good chance to have a jump off spot, you know, January 1, the beginning of something new. You can use that motivation to change. That's good. I'm not speaking against that. I'm talking about the mindset. But tell me, are you guys making resolutions? We're about halfway through January. How has it gone so far for you? Are you still sticking to them, or are you finding that it's harder? What motivated you to change? What motivated you to want to do something differently? Let's talk about it. Let's chat about it. Let's talk about resolutions. All right, guys, that's all. I can't wait to hear from you. Have a wonderful day. Be super blessed. I'll see you next time for our next video chat.